Good day to you. My name is Marek Cecuła and you are watching Poland Daily Culture. And we are in the factory of porcelain. And here with us is a legend, Marek Cecuła. Thank you very much for this invitation.
Yeah, the factory, yes, this is factory which is called Chmielów. This is one of the first Polish industry in general, 230 years old. So it is this really heritage of Polish industry.
But we will go back to the Chmielów itself. But first, in the previous episode, you told us about your rich life of living Poland, going to Israel, then to Brazil and New York. And in every place you've learned something about porcelain and you've created your own porcelain. But then, living in Soho in New York, when you already were becoming more and more popular as an artist, as I understand, you were selling more and more porcelain and products, and you needed to produce it here back in Poland. How did it happen? And tell us more.
Well, yes, in my studio in New York, I produced it two lines. One line was in production of utilitarian work, functional work, which is design, but also sculpture work, which was shown in the galleries. So it's the two avenue of my production actually was happening. And the side of this commercial work, which is functional utilitarian porcelain, start to get very popular, and I start to get order from department store and larger stores, and I have to produce these quantities, and it was very difficult in New York. So I moved my studio to Brooklyn, to a bigger studio, have help in the studio, but it still doesn't really was enough to supply the requirement and the orders. So I started thinking to come back to Poland because I know Poland, I know Polish porcelain factories. We have a very good quality of porcelain in Poland. I said I go back to Poland and start to order my production in factories. That's the natural next step. No, that's what I did. Around 2000, I started to travel to Poland more often, bringing my design to the factories Krzysztof, Chmielów, porcelana, Wałbrzych, in all different factories I try to produce my work, which I was exporting to the New York and selling in the United States.
Let's wait here. So Americans basically are eating and drinking from Polish porcelain created here and by your design, and it was truly popular. Are you still sending products there?
Now?
Yes.
Yes, now we're having a smaller market because we're producing everything in Poland here in the factory of Chmielów, but we have a line which is selling in the Museum of Modern Art design store in New York, in Los Angeles, and even in Hong Kong. So we do have a representation of our work in the United States, also in all over Europe, but in the United States we have a very prestigious place, which is MoMA Design Store, and we're very happy that they actually put this work in the catalog, and we're selling that already for the third year with success. So yes, we're still selling the work in the United States,
so
even when we're producing that here.
We still have something as Poland to give to the world and to share. And the fact even that there are still living factories here on Polish soil which are not closed, but people have worked, can come here, there are new products. It's accessible also, as I understand, for a common buyer, is it?
Yes, in Poland, yes, because in 2013 we was invited by Chmielów to becoming a designer for the factory, and we come here and establish this studio, which is called Chmielów Design Studio, which is new mark for Chmielów product. Chmielów has a three mark: Chmielów, Chodzież, and Chmielów Design Studio. Chmielów Design Studio is a new sector in this old traditional factory to produce contemporary work, because porcelain is very traditional, and this traditional product still become produced, and it's still very popular, and many people want to this classic and traditional porcelain. But there is also recently there is also need for the contemporary work, for the design which is more fitting for the new generation of people, which wants to have different aesthetic, different values, different aesthetics, and also using this porcelain in different way. So this is why Chmielów Design Studio becoming functional and producer of this contemporary work, which is now all over Poland, because we're selling quite a lot in Poland, but also in Europe, no, and in New York, in the United States as well.
Congratulations for this, because it's a huge success. And tell us a little bit about this difference. As I understand, here in front of us, we have this contrast between a traditional porcelain, which looks like this, and it's very rococo. And I would say everyone in Poland has at least one product like this, either from the times of their grandparents, and I still have inherited some kind of like this porcelain from my grandma, created many years ago, but I still understand this is a new product because it's still popular until today to use the same shapes. Maybe because it's very useful.
And also people have the nostalgia for this kind of thing. People want to see something which is didn't change much during the time. And there is many people which is also receiving that from the family from generation to generation, and they keeping that in very much in precious objects. Because porcelain is fragile, so it is, if it's existing through one generation, it's a success. So
of course.
People cherish that. And
they don't want to have everything from IKEA, but from other.
But parallel with that, with the traditional line and classic forms like this one, and object which is coming from, this is, let's say, I think this before the war, even the design of that, it's still very old design. But next to it, we're showing contemporary product, which is new design of my design. And what's unique about this product, that this is already made in this new technology, which is 3D printer creating the model.
Oh, interesting. A 3D printer did it.
So we're using this new technology to create new models that you can receive in very precise and very geometric shape, because it's done mechanically. And this is the contemporary line of our product. And it's also having some kind of solution, because
I can say I can try not to go too far, but it's definitely more stable than the normal one.
It has this grooves which is fitting into that porcelain. That it's actually
it's very, very beautiful and interesting. I would say that it also has an element of Japanese style.
Yes, of course. The Zen aesthetics, it always was connecting to my work. I love the simplicity of this Japanese aesthetics, and in many of my work, it's existing some of that reference to that design. So we're shifting all the time, because we're capable to produce different direction. But what's that's interesting us very much, it's the characteristic of this society, like how people eat. What the new kind of food is today coming. So let's say today we're not eating only this cutlet with potatoes, but we're also eating sushi, we're also eating rice with things, and Indian food or other countries. So the dishes also have to change for that. So we're observing the condition of the culinary culture and responding to that with our design, producing new work that it's actually fitting for our time.
If you would like to have a very modern but unique and special type of porcelain at home, you don't have to go abroad to Japan or to United States, because here in Poland, one of the most beautiful products are created in the Chmielów factory by Marek Cecuła. Stay with us for another episode.